advisors here today, parliamentary colleagues, Guy and Connie, religious leaders, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for your attendance, because this is such an important issue. It goes to the basic decency and fairness of our society, and at one level religious freedom shouldn't be that hard in Australia. We over the years at government level have been signatories to a whole bunch of international conventions. Connie mentioned one of them. There's also some international labour organisation conventions that talk about the importance of religious freedom and protection against religious discrimination. But the thing is, in Australia, until recent times, we never thought these protections were needed. We always thought the Australian way was to treat people with individual value, respect their diversity, their faith, their interests, their identity, respect the way in which they do things in the privacy of their own home and the privacy of their own religious beliefs. So that's all changed in recent times. Where has the change come from? Unfortunately, there's an extreme element in our society that talks about diversity, but they actually want everyone to be like them. And part of their agenda is to sneer at people who've got religious faith, to make out somehow they are substandard citizens. There's something wrong with them. And in the case of Israel Folau, I'm at the point now I'm wondering, what's the worst thing about it? The original problem, where a high-profile Australian was sacked for his religious beliefs and paraphrasing the Bible well away from his workplace on social media. Was that the worst thing? Or the subsequent treatment, where there's a concerted effort in the media now and among these sneering elites to try and make out, because he takes a literal interpretation of the Old Testament, there's something wrong with the guy. Somehow he's very strange and unusual. Well, I've got a message here today. In the case of Israel Folau, this is what multiculturalism looks like. I take an interest in Folau because he grew up in Minto, in the public housing estate there in Campbelltown, and I represented that area for over a decade in the federal parliament. And I know that Pacific Islander community very well. And the fact that Folau grew up in Minto and went to school at Lunier, another struggling area, that whole Pacific Islander community in Campbelltown has taken great inspiration and purpose in life from their Christian faith. Now, there's some communities that have struggled in Australia, but I look at that Islander community and think, well, isn't it good? They've found purpose in their lives through religion. And as a non-religious person myself, I don't particularly care where people find inspiration and purpose in life. If it comes from religion, that's a very, very good thing. And we should all be supporting that. And that's a community where, by and large, people have got on with trying to get a useful employment. It's not a community where people are welfare dependent. The kids aren't on drugs. The kids aren't out on the street doing the right thing. The Bible and their Christian faith has given that Pacific Islander community in Campbelltown tremendous purpose and success. And that is what multiculturalism should look like. It's the diversity of people who come here from different parts of the world and peacefully respect Australian values of fairness and merit and get about their life in a decent, reasonable way. And if they have a positive contribution to make that comes from the filter of their religious beliefs, that's something we should all applaud and all welcome. But tragically now it's being sneered at. You've got people from Peter Fitzsimons and all these other elites sneering at Folau. There's something wrong with this guy because he takes an interpretation out of the Old Testament. Well, if you're not a religious belief, why would you worry about that? Why would someone like Fitzsimons and his allies in the leftist media who don't believe in God, who sneer about God, say it's the fairy in the sky or however they describe it? If they don't believe in heaven and they certainly don't think they're going to hell, why would they worry about what Folau's got to say? That's his business, that's his faith, that's his set of beliefs, and the important thing about religious faith is different to other beliefs. You can believe about politics, you can believe about culture, you can believe about certain things. But religion, of course, is integral to the very existence of the citizen. The person who has that faith, it is such an important part of their very existence on this planet. The reason they feel certain things and have such conviction in their life. So all of that must be respected in a pluralistic, diverse community. It must be respected. And the fact that it's not shows that we do need new laws in Australia that we never expected. So many people now say they've come to Australia to get away from religious persecution and all this sneering. how's it followed them to our country? Well, as legislators, we've got to answer that question by saying it shouldn't follow them to Australia. We should have the protections that other countries have had, these international instruments. We need to legislate them in Australia now to make sure the protections are in place, that nobody can be sacked because of their religious belief, that nobody can be discriminated against because of their faith, that nobody can be treated as a substandard citizen because they believe in their particular God. Now that's what we're here for, that's what we're fighting for, it's very important. My role in the upper house in New South Wales has been to put forward a draft religious discrimination bill at state level. Under the Anti-Discrimination Act, there's a whole range of protections against discrimination on the basis of race, age, disability, gender, transgender. You know, there's a full list there, everything pretty well except religion. So it's time to act that way. It was an important recommendation of the Ruddock Review for New South Wales to have this kind of extension of anti-discrimination principles to give a fallow anyone else in the future the adequate protection under state law. How do we do that? Well, the important thing is to recognise that the senior parliament, if I can say that, not so much in age but in status, that Parliament in Canberra has got to get its religious laws in place, and then sensibly New South Wales can act in a way that's consistent. So it's been a pleasure to work with our new group in Macquarie Street, Friends of Religious Freedom, with Guy Zangari and other members from across the political aisle, from across the political divide. It's a very strong group, and I'm hoping that if it's not necessarily my bill that goes forward as a protection next year, once the federal matters are sorted out, then at least my bill will set a good benchmark, a good template for what these sort of protections should look like. And whether it's a Labor representative like Guy, or someone on the Liberal side like Damien Toonhope, a minister who is a convener of the group, getting these things done in the major party, who's obviously got more numbers in the parliament than I do at this stage, then you know, that's a good thing. What we're trying to do here is get the outcome, and I think you can see that here, that it's not really so much a party political divide, but Connie from the Liberal Party, Guy from the Labor Party, me from One Nation. We're all fighting for the one purpose, and we're doing it because you care about it, you know it's important. It is what multiculturalism and decency and fairness in Australia look like, and because you're fighting for it, we'll fight all the way, and I'm confident this time next year we'll have all the protections in place and we'll be a much better nation for it. Thanks very much.